Okay, good morning to everyone. In the previous class, we have been discussed about what is protocol and its purpose, benefits and protocol reviews. We have been discussed, and then in that we have also discussed about what are the exact components is needed in the clinical protocol. So in that, the components of the clinical protocol is title of the study, administrative details, project summary, and introduction and literature review and preliminary studies and study objectives for the research question. So that should be very smart, that is specific, measurable, achievable, and also relevant and also time based. So in that methodology, we need to give about the study design, study population, how you are going to recruit that study population, and what is the sample size. So what are the variables in the study. So what is the method of data collection which you are going to use, and what is the data and statistical analysis which you are going to use for your clinical research while you are doing in the clinical protocol. So today we will discuss about this data management and analysis plan. So this section should be written in the following statistical advice from the statistician. So it has to be discussed with the statistician, then only you need to discuss about all these things. So this analysis plan with the statistical to use to check the significance of that particular research question and hypothesis which have been generated. So that should be having the appropriate references where you got from that particular information. So here the name of the variables must be used in the analysis because of this statistical analysis will be performed to assess the outcome and should be listed. So here we need to discuss about what are the name of that particular variables in analysis process. So will be performed based on the analysis should be listed. So that will depending on the outcome of that particular study. So if you are using any kind of computer programs like SAS, SPSS software, so in that you need to important to mention that. So what software you are going to use and what is its version of that particular software which you are going to use. So the next thing is project management. In that you need to give about the work timeline management you need to mention in that. So in the work plan, so each and every month, so for a time period, so what is you are going to achieve? So what is your exact proper timetable for accomplishing the each and every step in the project? So for that you need to assign the time frame for the each step. Whenever if you are going to give a trial, that will be more helpful for the conducting a organized and structured research trials. So those whomever they are having involving in this clinical research or clinical trials, so like investigators or sponsors or assistants or laboratory technicians or else entire research team. So they have to be involved in that data collection. So whomever they may involve in the clinical trial or research process also, they must be thoroughly trained. So if they trained well, so that will save the time, and you can achieve the exact work plan timeline so in your clinical research. So along with that you need to mention about so what are the strengths and limitations of your clinical research proposal. So it is important to mention that. So what are the exact strengths of the study? So what you can achieve going to through the study after doing this kind of research or clinical trial, and what is cannot be achieved, that is also important to mention, because what will happen is, so if you don't realize that, so you are not going to achieve certain things in your research. So that has to be mentioned in the earlier itself. So otherwise what will happen is, so there will be a more chances of allocation of the wasteful resources and time they are allocating for that particular thing, so which you are not going to be achieved. So for that reason, whenever if you are going to write a clinical trial or for the protocol or clinical research protocol, so that has to be taken into account that what is the exact you are going to achieve. So what it is difficult to achieve, so that has to be mentioned in the limitation section. So coming to the ethical consideration, so whenever if you are going for the any kind of a clinical aspecting, so you need to get approval from the institutional ethical committee or institutional review board. The most important thing is, so the benefits and risks for the subject which is going to involve, so the ethical committee will see that. Along with that, the physical, social and psychological implications of that particular research will be evaluated by that ethical committee. So whatever the details of that particular study patients which you have been given, so what kind of treatment you are going to approach, along with that, so is there any kind of alternative treatments for that or not, so that has to be mentioned. So along with that, the information should be provided with the free informed consent form to the participants. So along with that, So from you need to get the permission from the human participants. So after recruiting the clinical research, so he has to accept that, so I am going to involve in this. So in that, in the informed consent form, so what are the terms and conditions which have been mentioned, that has to be clearly explained to the human participant. And then you need to do the justification for the research, how you are going to do the justification of your research question, so with your research. So along with that, you need to maintain that confidentiality. So the next thing is operational planning and budgeting. So whenever if you are going to work any kind of clinical research or clinical trials, so there is a needed of a budget summary. So how you are going to spend that money. So for recruitment for the research team, how you are going to pay, for transportation, for manpower, is there any kind of instrument is needed? So is there any kind of laboratories is needed? Is there any kind of new drug, or else any existing drug which you are going to buy? So what is the cost of the drug? So you need to give a allocated budget to each and every aspect of, depending on your type of the clinical research. So this budget will estimate to the, so whatever you are going to spend, how you are going to spend according to the timeline. So you need to give the budget plan. So that has to be attached to the annexer. So at the end of the protocol, so you need to submit that one also. So in that you need to include the all costs. That is, so whomever may be that research team, so how you are going to pay that research team. So along with that, the method of payment. So whether you are going to give the cash or check or bank transfer. So how you are going to give, that has to also be mentioned. Along with that, you need to give a clear-cut information about what are consumables and equipment. So what kind of supplies is needed. So is there any kind of communication and funds is needed. So that also has to be, you need to discuss with the patient. So for that, is there any kind of data analysis process? For that, is there any kind of payment you need to pay for the statistical and data analysis? So that has to be included in the budget. So each and everything, whatever you have been mentioned in that, so that has to be, each and every item should be justified there. So next thing is reference system. So the foremost and very important thing is reference system. So many of the researchers, usually they will do their research but unable to quote the proper reference citation in their research thing. So along with that, whenever if you are going to write a protocol, in the protocol itself you need to mention the clear-cut reference system. So where you have been extracted from that information from the other researchers. So here the referencing is the regular method of recognition information taken from the other researcher work. So for a proper citation will enable the readers to follow up any other references which they have been interested. So if you have been cited properly, if they are having, if they found, if the point whatever you have mentioned is interested, so if they want to know in detail about those particular points, so if you give the proper citation, so the principal investigator and the other research team members also will able to read that thing. Otherwise, so whenever if you are submitting to the ethical committee, the ethical committee members, whomever they may are having the doubts, so by reading that article with your citation, so they can clear their doubts. So along with that, plagiarism is refers to the claiming and acquiring someone else's ideas, and action is considered as a criminal action, because plagiarism is also known as the intellectual thefting. That means, so someone will do the hard work, so as easily you have been copied their work. So it should, that can be considered as a criminal action and they can be legally punished. So if they have been done like that. So for that reason, so for whatever the publications nowadays, so they are following the strict plagiarism guidelines by the Scopus and Sciendex and Springer Nature journals. So in that the maximum they are allowed is only 15%. That is also of the standard definitions and standard words only they are taking into consideration. So for that, this plagiarism to avoid, so they have been considered nowadays, many tools are available for the paraphrasing or rephrasing the same sentence. So whenever if you are taking the others work used as a literature, so in that you should not copy the sentence as it is. So you can the same sentence with the same meaning, you need to alter the words or else you need to rephrase the words. So you need to rephrase the sentences. So like that you need to do in the plagiarism. So in case of failure to reference to an idea that you have found in your research or to acknowledge other works to the team member, in that team assignment falls under category of plagiarism. For example, if you have taken any kind of methodology or else any kind of statistical data or statistical analysis of the existent literature, so whenever if you are going to use that data for your study or else that information from your study. So you need to give the proper reference to that particular researcher who has been done earlier in the literature review. So if you don't give the proper citation to that particular researcher which you have been collected through the literature review, so at that time also if you are unable to give the proper citation, so that is also coming to category of plagiarism. So if you have taken the same thing, same information, if you are giving the proper citation, so that can be overcome of the plagiarism because you are giving the proper citation to the who has originally done that particular work. So therefore, referencing is very extremely important in aspect of research protocol. Along with that, whenever if you are going to write a thesis or project books, in that also reference is the foremost important thing. So along with that, you need to follow certain kind of things. So in that also, whatever the information which have been kept in the thesis, so that has to be related to the whatever the reference which you have been kept. So that has to be matched with the citation in the your thesis book. So the two most commonly used citation systems in clinical writing are two types. So one is Vancouver system and other one is Harvard system. So in Harvard system, it will go through the author's names. So in case of Vancouver system, so it will go through with the numbering citation system. So annexes. So whenever if you are going to submit a clinical protocol, so in that exactly what are the better thing you need to attach the protocol. So along with the protocol form, so what are the other documents which you need to submit to the clinical research, protocol team or else ethical committee which you need to submit, or else if you are going for the clinical project for a funding, for that also what are the things you need to submit along with that protocol documents. So in that you need to submit the informed consent form, along with that from the letter from the ethics committee, so which ethical committee has been given the approval that so your study research can be furtherly proceeded. So is there any kind of study questionnaire is there for your research? So that study questionnaire also has to be attached with that. So in case any case record forms, so is there any format according to your clinical protocol? So that copy also of that case report from you need to attach with that, along with that budget details. So I told earlier, so whatever the according to the timeline, whomever the research team which has been involved, so each and everything you need to give in a clear cut detail of that particular budget. You need to give in details of that budget. So if what is the exact cost, total cost of that budget, so how you are going to split that budget into each and everything which is going to involve in the research. So finally, curriculum vitae of the chief investigator or principal investigator that has to be attached. Along with that, co-investigator or co-principal investigator, so that curriculum vitae also it's better to attach because whenever they are going, they will see the exact profile of that particular principal investigator and co-principal investigator of that particular research. So if they are having any experience in that particular area, so there is a more chances for acceptance of that particular funding thing for that particular research team. So it will ensure that role of each and every investigator will be defined. Along with that, if possible, you need to give the what are the exact your clinical research team details also need to be mentioned in the annexure itself. So after writing a clinical protocol, how you are going to judge that? So you have been written a good protocol or a bad protocol. So how to judge? So at first you need to see the protocol and it should have the adequately answered to the research question. So which you have been generated in the hypothesis. So whatever the research question, what you are going to achieve. So that has to be adequately answered to that particular question. So the research design, so which you have been selected, so that has to be sound enough to yield the expected knowledge. So and it should provide the it should provide the detailed methodology so that can allow the investigator to study and arrival of the comparable conclusion. So if there is any kind of outcome which you have been got, so that has to be compared with that. So how you are going to use that methodology, so that is important thing. So depending on that also you need to judge that. So okay, depending on this methodology we got the better outcome. So if there is any kind of whatever the expected outcome which you didn't get, so at that time what you need to do is, so in those conditions again, so in this methodology we didn't get the whatever the expected outcome we have been expected. So for that reason, so is there any change in the methodology, so that has to be need to inform to the ethical committee. So after that, along with that research agency, so you need to inform that so why the deviation has been occurred in this particular methodology. So along with that, the proposed number of the participant is reasonably justified and the scientific design is adequately described. So in that, so how many members you are going to take for your research? So the number should be justified. So each and everything you need to give the justification for why you need this many researchers, this many healthy volunteers or participants for your study. So that has to be justified according to your scientific design. So that has to be given the clear-cut description of that particular thing. So common mistakes. So whenever if you are, after all, we are all humans. So usually we can do this kind of mistakes. So what are the common mistakes usually we will do? So in that, incorporating the insufficient elements regarding the proposal studies and inadequate explanation. So whenever if you are going to give each and everything, you need to give a detailed description of that particular thing. So many of them, so they will have a very good idea of that research proposal and they will write the protocol good. But whenever they are going to give proper explanation to each and everything for the justification, so usually they don't go to how to fill that thing, so how to describe those things. At that also, the protocol can be considered as it is not that much good protocol. So there may be a chances of rejection. So furthermore, whenever if you are going to give the sample size, if the sample size is very less, so how you are going to justify that thing? Because whenever if you are going to do a clinical research or trial, so you must need many number of samples that will give the more adequate number, that will give the accurate of, you can tell that in that particular population. So we must justification that. So depending on the sample size, whatever you can get the statistical significance. So if the sample size is very less, so majority of the things, so there may be a more possibility of getting statistical insignificance in clinically insignificance. So for that reason, whatever the, if you are using any kind of instrumentation in that, so you need to test that thing. So you need to calibrate that one. So whether you are going to give whatever the instruments which have been given, so whether it is going to be given the exact results or not, is there any kind of deviation in the results? So for that you need to do the tested with the another instrument and you need to calibrate that one for every 6 months. So along with that, so you need to be more focused when they have been given. So at the end of the thing, we need to give the proper signatures of the research team and principal investigators. Okay, this is it. So this is about the clinical protocol. So today we have been discussed about this project management and summary, strengths and limitations, and issues of ethics review and approvals. So along with that, what is the ethical issues usually we will see, and then budget summary. So how to judge a good protocol. Along with that, so what are the common mistakes usually we will do in writing in the clinical protocol. So this is about the clinical protocol.